Ngannou is loyal to PFL, they had Francis back, he's not gonna forget that. Stay tuned to the world of bloody entertainment, as we bring you the latest. Subscribe. Ngannou's striking coach says he'd never abandon PFL to fight for UFC because PFL was there for him when he was down and out. Francis Ngannou has no interest in returning to the UFC, and one of his coaches believes that will never change. It's important to clarify because there's been a game of telephone going where Ngannou's head MMA coach Eric Nixick recently suggested the Predator was ready to make himself available to whatever options that he needs. That was all it took to get everyone talking about Ngannou return to UFC. On Saturday in Baku, Azerbaijan, a reporter told Dana White that Ngannou wanted to return to UFC, and White said he wasn't a fan. Ngannou dropped a cold tweet in response, writing, "Did I say I'm ever coming back?" Now his striking coach Dewey Cooper is sharing his thoughts on a potential reconciliation between the UFC and Ngannou. "I don't see any chance of Francis returning to the UFC," Cooper told Online Slots. "The other coaches on our staff may think differently. That doesn't mean the door is completely shut on Ngannou versus a top UFC name. I can see him doing a kind of co-promotion thing, maybe a UFC fight, but in conjunction with the PFL," Cooper said. "Because when all this went down and we fumbled the bag, the PFL had Francis back, and one thing about Francis, he appreciates the support he got from PFL. He's not just gonna forget about that when the whole world said he screwed up and he blew it, or that he was afraid to fight someone, which was never the truth. Let me play devil's advocate in this regard, only because I'm talking about we love you, that's it," Nixick said. "The bottom line is, what do you gain if you're fighting injured? If you knock this dude out and we win, then what's next? But what do you have to lose if this gets hurt or you lose this fight? What are the pros versus the cons? And I'm not telling you one is more than the other, but I think that's what we need to decide as a team or a family, and then you have to make a decision at the end of the day." Nixick then referenced Ngannou's soured relationship with UFC. "I know, we all know, these mother-f***ers don't give a f about you, bro. So why are we doing them a favor?" Ngannou's orthopedic surgeon also thought fighting without an ACL and MCL was insane, and suggested the knee would be damaged even worse if he competed on it. "Overall, his meniscus cartilage right now looks good," the doctor said. "The next thing that's going to happen if his knee buckles in competition, there's going to be so much force, he's going to badly bruise the bone and he'll rip the meniscus. Let's face it, they know that this happened to him. They're going to go after the leg. I think you're not going to be 100% of the fighter that you are." After being forced to sit out for nearly 1 year, Ngannou wasn't willing to miss the fight. It was the last bout on his UFC contract, and he wanted to make sure he was capable of leaving the promotion if that's what he wanted to do after the injury was healed. And fortunately, Ngannou managed to dig deep and beat Gane, rather than have the situation look like TJ Dillashaw versus Aljamain Sterling. Ngannou currently has 0 fights left on his UFC contract, which also has a 5-year sunset clause that kicks in early 2023. He is currently hoping he'll be ready to return to competition in March. Where is the big question, but it's still looking more likely that he'll take his services to the boxing world rather than re-sign with UFC.